Bam.
Rolls. Ooh, I should get that.
All right.
Do I need to
So?
open up Roll20?
No,
I
we're
know.
pretty much done with that. I've canceled my subscription
Oh my
for now.
goodness.
Well,
Damn.
especially for the near future when I don't really plan on. Okay, Franny will be on shortly, but I'll get started on the recap while he's here. Then when we're good, we'll be good.
Nah.
But yes, so in the last episode, the party needed to go and to start their new quest to test out their Gabos frames and, you know, bring in the experience that would potentially assist in this experiment. And all was going so well, they inevitably took the zigzaggy way out. They to get to Astrologations Incorporated. They, you know, just so happened in QR and upon leading the group in his utmost of confidence, suddenly tripped over a cart and then for a moment seemed like to kind of lose control of his own arm as for some reason his arm had just fully given Gray a little squeeze in the butt cheek as you tried to assist QR back up on his feet.
Yeah, that's the important part to remember. Yep.
Yes. And for a moment, it looked like he was going to potentially try to regain the control of his arm again, so he had, you know, full control of his body, because who wants to have an arm bugging out and doing all the things that they don't want them to? And then suddenly in that moment, Kiora vanished into thin air.
It's a natural
tracker
one roll.
His tracker had gone entirely dead. He was pinged nowhere on the tower systems, which caused a panic in Lindsay and the party, as there was the question of where could he possibly have gone. Nevertheless, they feared that the potential that this felt like it included technology that has only been known to be used by Rothians. The fear of the Rothians had encompassed the Lindsay and her colleagues, but nevertheless, the party is not ready to face that type of threat, and thus they still had to go on their mission regardless, despite the new issues. The party was given the members of the party that have their the Gabos frame, so that would be Gray and Avant-Garde, were given the ability to activate their Gabos frame, taught how to use the packs that were kind of given to them through the surgery in order to get the infrastructure and the AI kind of connected to their systems. Then they have these little special backpacks that kind of hook into a slot that has been implanted into their back, and we're able to are now able to activate at will their Gabos frame, which have different properties based on whatever their kind of choosing of their frame class that they wanted. Then they finally were able to go off after being joined by one of another group's, I guess you could say, somewhat of a member that fell behind in their training with the experiment. Also, another experimental group of Gabos frame and named Claire. Is that how do you pronounce that last name?
Last name is pronounced Ferus.
Ferus. So yes,
I can say it real slow for you if you like to keep up.
We're gonna go with the no on that one. And they
Whatever floats your boat.
they finally, and with Claire, then had gone off on their first mission, so that they were not going to be down an expected person, and were met with a somewhat joyous sight of the landlord, who, once he got them up the elevator into the storage, I guess you could just say floor that it was. They were greeted by in somewhat, I guess, unwelcome sound of some voices talking amongst the rubble. As they were able to walk up, they inevitably found a man with a mask, a kobold, and a raven, huddling over a tied up and gagged man. The party was inevitably called into combative action, and by doing so, thwarted the enemies and were able to knock out the masked man. However, they did kill the kobold and the raven. And so what was I forgot the last creature. There's an extra creature involved. I don't remember what it was.
They're dead, whatever they are.
Yeah, they died. But they knocked out the man, and they were able to uncover the man who noted himself as being from Grand Rapids, Michigan. And he seemed a little dazed and in shock, not really understanding where he was or who it was that was talking to him. And inevitably, that was where we kind of ended as they were getting ready to head back to they're essentially heading back on their taxi, if you will. We will have the conversation with them in a moment. But first, Edom. So you were not present as a player last session. And,
That's correct.
So you were kind of sent on a little bit of a special duty to transfer Linhart as they were getting off readings, and so he was going to go. You were meant to take him to Dr. Gerb Diaz, so to see if there needed to be any extra management or potentially maybe if there was any type of side effect going on.
Okay.
So you had brought him into the room. You kind of just pushed him into Dr. Gerb Diaz's room, and then inevitably just kind of left him there to his own devices. As very quickly you're given you receive an urgent ping from Dr. Lindsay Cross. Enum, I need you into my office at this moment.
Enum sighs, starts heading down the corridors. Towards the office.
All right. You inevitably get to realize I made some slight clerical error on the current
Oh, I know.
overlay once we get to it when Franny comes in. And it just bothered me for a moment. I was like, oh no. He's going to kick in. But we're not there yet. So yes, you get to the office. You are able to obviously just enter in. You are usually freely able to go in and out of her office. All right.
Doctor, you required my assistance.
You kind of see the desk has just become kind of strewn about with different kind of different like tablets, and even some old like papers have been kind of brought out, and she's kind of like milling between everything, and she's like, yeah, come in and make sure the door's closed.
I slide in, close the door behind me. Sure it's completely shut and locked and all that.
Yeah, so she kind of will just like sit down on her chair for a moment, kind of collect herself, like the QR is gone. He's just gone.
Oh, what a sad affair. Well, I guess we'll have to get a replacement.
As much as I enjoy your sarcasm, this is not the time. You know as well as I do that if we lose him entirely, he has a lot of valuable information.
That is a good point. How did he disappear?
I don't know. I've been trying to figure that out. It's been driving me up the wall. I have no clue as to what it could be. What just causes somebody to vanish and lose any and all like communication and tracking systems? Like the thing that would have to have taken him would have had to have some type of disruptor. And the only things I know to have that are Rothians. But there's no
Could I
ships in
maybe-
orbit. So where could they have taken them?
Could Eno make like a history check or something
Yeah.
to see if he might know?
Yeah, go ahead.
He's like heard of anything like this. History should I do? Or
Yeah.
like in okay. Oh, that's an 8.
So you've heard of the Rothians. They've come up before as they're essentially the effective boogeyman of space. They're ferocious. They're generally known as a pretty ferocious race. They supposedly pretty much live forever amongst their ships, and they have no mercy as it comes to trying to claim what they feel is theirs. Outside of that, you don't know too much.
Yeah. Well, Doctor, my knowledge of the Rothians is fairly cursory. I'm not sure if I would be able to just help based on my own knowledge. We'd have to do some more investigation.
Yes, you raise a point, and there's not much I can expect you to do either, which isn't why I called you here. I didn't call you here for any type of literary help, because obviously QR is gone. You just need. I will deal with Linhart and whatever his needs need to be, and just for now, why don't you just make your way towards Astrologations Incorporated, and then once you get there, you can wait for the group when they arrive back. I guess they supposedly have found, like, they found some type of hostage situation, so they now have one of the captors and the hostage coming back with them. It's a lot, so we'll have to figure it out once they come back. They'll have another face. You've seen her. I think I've seen her profile before. It's Claire Ferus. She's the one that fell behind from her other group. The one that procrastinates a lot. Just make sure that you help them out, just like you would if Linhart or QR were there.
I suppose I can do that.
Yeah, I will let you know if I will come back once I get some type of idea of what is going on. I will probably be following you within the next hour or so.
Well, I'll do everything I can, I suppose, to find that small metal bastard.
It's not much I expect you to do right now, but for now, we will just. I'll make sure that they have somebody who is a little more experienced in the into their Gabos frame to watch over them.
Okay, I'll take my leave then.
All right, so you head out. You kind of go through the elevator system, which you didn't experience this as a player last time, but it's very because of the way that they try to trick people. If they ever bring in an outsider to the tower, they really don't want them to know how exactly they got into this part of the complex, because this shares a complex with Astrologations Incorporated. Kind of hence why this cooperative or this cooperation exists. So within that, then what they kind of do is they almost kind of have a weird Willy Wonka, or I guess it's more the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory-esque escalate or elevator.
Okay.
So you don't really see it at all. It's kind of it's completely dark inside the elevator, but you'll always just you'll start by just shooting left and then going up, down, right, left, down,
Yeah.
left, up. And then eventually you'll go to a stop and then just normally go down like a normal elevator.
Okay.
The funny part
Quite the
is it almost seems
experience.
like the path that you take out is different every time. Hey, all right, now I got to do reorganizing
Oh my
because
God.
these aren't perfect. For some reason, you and Gray are backwards.
Okay. Hey.
Whoa. You're really cut
I'm
off.
just
right
waiting
now.
for. Yeah, I'm waiting for my camera or my laptop to catch up. So
You could do me the favor. tilting that phone to the right.
Tilt that pupper
Well,
sideways.
you know what I mean. Landscape mode. Landscape mode.
But
This isn't a
looking at,
concert, Franny. This
Hey,
ain't Diplo. This is D&D.
there we go. I think that works.
bam.
There we are.
So are we all dead yet?
No, I
That's what I call 480p.
getting Enum caught up to where you guys are now. So you guys are just kind of packing up onto the cart as you kind of came down with your rescued hostage and your now current, I guess you could, captive prisoner in a way, I guess. As you
Our boy, our boy Ted.
yes, yes.
Good old Ted.
So you guys are heading onto essentially the taxi car, and as the landlord kind of comes to you, just like, well, thanks for that. I'm glad that apparently I created a refuge for thieves and criminals who make hostages. Nevertheless, it's dealt with. I will give the payment, or I will get the bill to your managers or whatever they're called. Just take them off of my site, and I need to get the renovation crew here.
Alrighty, sir. You have a great day. I'm saying this as I'm checking Ted over. Make sure all his functions are working. Doctor's things.
He, within the elevator, he had the shock kind of seemed to hit him, and he fainted.
Then I am addressing the situation as best I can.
By just slomping him into the car.
Yes.
Just sleep tight there, child. No, he's a grown man. Yes, thank you. You all is well. So kind of walk back into the building.
Hang on 1 second.
Oh my god.
Hey.
Oh my god!
Yep, there we go.
Alright, continue.
All right, but yes. So you're crapping him into the taxi car. All right, you're all set. This is the driver.
Yeah. Where were we? Hey, where were we supposed to go again?
Well,
I don't know.
I'm taking you're going back to the base.
Right. Yeah. I am constantly just having my finger on Ted's throat to make sure the heartbeat still exists.
Yes, he's fine. He's just fainted.
All
A lot of stress, a lot of confusion, shock.
right. Well, we did some good, I guess.
Yeah, you destroyed a kobold. Absolutely murdered a kobold. And then kneecapped a man.
What happened to that man?
You also have him. You also took him.
He's just
So you have two knocked out people. One who was a hostage. The other who was the, I guess you could just say the criminal.
Got it. I would have handed the criminal off to Claire. Like, of all people here, I feel like you're the most qualified to keep him unconscious.
I'm just gonna take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
We're just
I
gonna
go
move
back
right
and-
along.
All right, so
Yep,
you guys
that's
pack
fine.
up the car. All right, let's get going. As you kind of rev up, as you'll start flying over back to Straw Allegations Inc. And kind of
For some
about the
reason.
time that you all make it back to the meeting room. You all walk in to see, or at least what would be you and Avant, who Avant's player is not here today, but you and Avant would recognize as Enum, kind of waiting inside of the meeting room.
Are we close enough to like
So he's
so
on like
you
the other
guys-
side of the room, but yeah.
Oh,
There's like 2 entryways into this meeting room. You came from the side that you left in to get your armor fittings and then go to the taxi port, whereas he came in from the side that was towards like the big open area that QR disappeared in.
like oh, Enum.
Hello, Gray.
Hey,
Oh, hey, is this the robot friend that you were missing, right?
no,
Is
that's
this the
there's
one?
the other robot friend.
Hey, you found him. Well, guess we're all set. I guess I can go home today. This is great.
That's the.
Oh, nice half
The
day.
Admiral
Haven't had one of those in a
come in.
while.
I wish that was the case, but you can't be calling all robots the same. I learned that lesson a long time ago.
Secret backstory that we have to keep track of now.
We're just
Roll for racism.
potential, just the potential questionable racism, I guess.
So
Is he racist? We don't know.
yeah,
We'll
Gray
find
just
out,
gives
won't we?
Gray just gives him one that double take look like what? But
What?
he'll then go up to Enum and say, "Hey, can you hold this body for me?" And hand him Ted.
Hey, careful. No. Hold on. As he'll kind of hit a page, as 2 bigger kind of half orcish men come into the room. They will take both of them.
All right, be careful
The
with
prisoner
Ted.
and the, I guess, former prisoner, former hostage, whatever.
The victim.
Sure.
Be careful with him. He's just unconscious. With the other guy with the broken kneecap, just you can toss him anywhere.
They're good at what they do. And so both kind of averagely pick both of them up as they'll kind of carry each of them out of the room, going kind of leading towards that equipment bay you guys went to. All right, now your Enum, your name was right. He's pointing at you, Enum.
Yes, I am Enum.
Okay, so he is now joining you as you are clearly now down a robot. So clearly, replacing him with another one is the right solution. And that was just a joke. My apologies. But anyway,
Racism, so funny.
It's okay. I have friends who are Vect. It's fine.
yeah, my best friend.
They can vouch for me.
My best friends are Vic. My cousin
My
married.
sister married a Vect. It's okay.
Help
You're
is a
one of
whole
the
lot.
good
No,
ones.
what?
Anyway, so you all just need to kind of wait around here. I've been told to expect Dr. Cross to be coming here, but you essentially are going to be going on that mountain mission that was an option earlier. I guess they feel that the need to have that be dealt with is still important enough. So, but she wanted to have some type of talk about it. In terms of what I could give for any of your performances, as far as I saw, you did the best you could. There really wasn't much to it. They left you with little option but to lead it to some type of violent matter. I would say potentially just could be, I guess if you were maybe smooth enough talker, you could have led to a non-violent realm of it, but otherwise not too bad. We here at Astrologations don't go for the full-on battle. You try to get some type, essentially if we could potentially get as many of them as prisoners as possible, would have been great. The fact that we only had the one of them to interrogate now makes it a little harder because obviously any answers he will give is now more biased. So this is just something you'll learn with experience. Preferable, always try to get more than one prisoner if you're turning him into essentially someone like us. I'll say eventually you're able to be on your own, you're something like bounty hunters, then maybe, yeah, you only need the one because you got little resources. But here, you got plenty of resources, plenty of people to deal with this type of stuff in isolated manners. Try to get more than one criminal if you ever catch them. Well, generally try to kill no one if they're, especially a sentient creature. The non-sentient ones are obviously a little less valuable, but people have their ways. The druids, man, they'll talk to any type of creature. They're real good at that stuff.
Yeah, we are.
What was weird was one druid came back with a plant, and we were actually able to find a serial killer once. It was the strangest thing I've ever seen, but it held up in court. That's what matters.
Sorry, when you mean a plant, you say like a person who has been put into a position as a means of surveillance, or are you talking about like an actual plant?
I mean a plant with plant cells that photosynthesizes. And now I'm not talking about a dryad.
What type of plant was it? Like anything exotic? Like,
oh my god, who gives a shit? A plant's a plant.
I give a shit. It's a plant.
It was something that it was one of those Earthian imports, but it like adapted to the environment here. So it was
oh my god, I read about
Verdenian
those.
daisy is what it's called now.
Oh,
has to adapt to this climate. It was
I
actually
mean,
very strange.
it
almost felt like, in a way, the plant was a plant because they're not often around the area that they were in, which is strange. But who knows? Anyway, that's a side story. Eventually, I'm going to try to manage the prisoners, well, the prisoner and the victim. This is kind of gesture to you a little bit. See how they're dealing with. Make sure the victim is being, taken care of and eventually relaxed. And then I'll come back when Dr. Cross arrives. So I'll see you whenever I get the message that she's here.
All right, sounds good.
He'll kind of walk out the door that the orcs left in as well. As you guys essentially are having to wait here for a while. Is there any particular conversations you were planning to drum up with each other?
How have you all been while I've been gone? I see QR's gone. That makes me very happy.
Yeah, I've noticed somehow your expression line up, despite the fact you're back. It's
now that's
interesting.
Racist.
Yes. Wow, I'm guilty of it too. It's very curious. I want to study it, but yeah. Avance, what do you think about this?
He's found a window in the room and he's just begun staring.
Oh, we lost him for a few hours. Claire.
Yes, Professor.
Doctor. But
Doctor
Do you have
Professor.
both the MD and the PhD, or just the MD?
once he's got the once he's got the MD and then at least some masters. Yeah.
Yes, doctor only by MD, so not professor.
So yeah. So seeing you in action has made me rightfully terrified of you. I just wanted to let you know that.
What a valuable conversation. Look, I'm scared of you.
Oh no!
Oh no. He probably didn't hear it.
All right, what was the last you heard from Franny?
What was that? I wasn't listening to you at all. I was just in my own damn. Goddamn internet.
I just lean into Enum. How it should be so cool and terrifying at the exact same time. He's frustrated.
You should ask him that.
So turned on right now.
That's a her, big boy. Thank you very much.
Oh, my bad.
Now that's racist.
No, that's sexist.
That's sexist. Right?
No, that's a Vect. They're like a type of robot or something. I'm not an expert on that.
There's so much. I feel like we have now thoroughly confused anybody that could be watching.
It's like, wait. Grace
What
like
is
has his
anything?
finger.
What is anything
Grace
anymore?
Gray pulls out a little notepad, just go through it. It's like,
God forbid
Shit, she's
Jade was
right.
actually here and we'd have a Birdman in the mix.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you know we'd be rhyming all this.
but yeah, so being used to a lot of hurry up and waits. What's around us? Where are we? What's this room?
So, in terms of
What's
this
the
room,
history?
it's a relative. I mean, for like a very general meeting room, it has kind of this moderately cozy feel in this little futuristic world. So it's a little different, obviously, than maybe this type our time. But it's got a number of like a different kind of couches along the wall. There's this large hollow table that kind of it can project like images of images the holograms of somebody if essentially they are trying to make some type of like call in or they are trying to get that type of information. At the moment, it is mainly just getting a map. It is kind of rotating a map of the base that you're in, or like the main part of this floor of this complex, I should say. So you're kind of just looking at a rotating figure of that. These have existed all over the galaxy in large numbers of ships. You know that these are generally, you can generally mess with these. You can usually get information from there. It's like an open computer in a way, or like it's like an information like screen whenever you go to like hotels or convention centers that are really fancy. It's just like, oh, I can click the map. Except that, but it's like 3D.
And there's no plants around?
Not in this room.
No, that's fortunate.
No, there's some rooms to the outside, which have been let clear. They were opaque earlier, but they're now made clear.
Okay.
While you're just kind of waiting around, so.
Mm-hmm. So, Eden, what happened to Linhart?
He did the Linhart thing of staring and being weird, and then I left him in Dr. Gerb Diaz's office. I tried to interact with him as little as I could, to be quite honest.
Which was none.
Yes.
I feel like you do that with all of us. So for that, I feel honored. I feel like that's sort of acceptance from you of us as like creatures. And Enum, I just want to let you know you are great and you are appreciated.
Great. You have to stop being so weird around me.
All right. Well,
We're not that different from you.
I'll let that kind of be the call for about an hour or so has passed. As eventually both the Admiral and Dr. Lindsay Cross will walk into the room together. Somewhat of it's actually more of a testament to kind of actually how tall Dr. Cross is, because what's your height, Enum and Gray?
422.
I don't remember where you find that.
Why?
With a measuring tape.
Why?
Wait, what? What do you mean,
You
why?
said 4 foot and 22 inches.
Oh. I didn't even hear that.
Why? God.
I can see the
So it's
equation
5'10".
floating around.
The sudden like drop in your expression was all that made it
It's
worth
even
it.
worse than the 5'12". It's
That-
worse.
That's a joke that's been 3 sessions in the making.
Oh my god, no. Alright, so you're 5'10". How tall are you, Enum?
I never gave you my height actually, so I'll be 6'1".
Okay. So, I mean, Enum, you've worked with Dr. Cross. She's been around like a number of different heighted people, mainly for you, Gray, and what would be Avant. Is this actually more as a showcase to kind of how tall Lindsay is? Because she was taller than I think both of you. Like I think he was about. I think Avant's only about 6 foot.
I don't want to say.
I don't think, did he mark it? Let me see. Let me check his character sheet. I did not. But anyway, it's a testament how tall she actually is, as she just seems to, because you really only interacted with her when she was standing and you were sitting, or she was sitting and you were standing. So you finally actually really get to feel how tall she is, because she just seems to tower over this dwarven man.
Oh, whoa.
As they walk into the room together, as she kind of like, yeah, because he came in first, and so she just kind of is like well over him, as he kind of is maybe at about, I guess I would say, kind of just at the bottom of her waist area. The waist is a little high, I guess. More kind of like the upper thigh. So she just definitely like is like almost twice the size, like 2.1 times the size of this dwarf. And as Franny attempts to regain the control of a 24-year-old man, they walk in and goes, all right, so, well, I guess I'll let you speak first, Dr. Cross. Yeah, okay. So as you can tell, I was a little rash and flustered in the phone call earlier. Lost my cool. I apologize. But I don't have better news in that we still do not know. Oh, he's 6'1". Okay. We still don't know where QR is. Are you still on this?
I'm sorry. All right, continue.
You are 13. You're like a 13-year-old boy. Like giggling.
Okay,
like
I'm good.
a teenager in a high school health class. When they get to the section about STDs.
Oh man. For us it was just fear. But keep going. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
It's jokes
That's correct.
until the slideshow comes on.
Oh yeah, there it is.
And then it's fear. But all right. So yes, unfortunately we did not find QR, but I have been noted that most likely I have been noted that it is unlikely for the fact that he is on a Rothia ship, but somehow he has disappeared. I do not feel like we're in immediate danger, but we also could be. We really don't know. our main goal really is just going to be we have to find them, but that's obviously nothing I can do with any of you at this point. I can't send you all into space on a wild goose chase where any number of threats could destroy you and the technology that is now embedded into you. So it'd be holistically irresponsible for me to send you all out right now.
Oh, that's not a problem. I'm sure it'll be fine. We just did a little cleanup there, and it went great. You know, I think you could absolutely send us out into space unsupervised. I don't think anything would go wrong with that. Honestly,
Look,
it's
I've looked at your
probably the best
profile. That's the
overview
last
you
thing
have
I'm
ever
gonna
had,
do.
Admirable. Honestly, the best.
Need I remind you why you're not in your group in the first place? Last thing I'm going to have you do is go out in space unsupervised.
We'll see about that.
And so anyway, we are going to send you out on as the Admiral has initially briefed you on. We are going to send you out on the mountain mission that we were originally sending you out for. It just is going to be probably better for you guys just to continue to get more experience. Also, because of the environment that it's in, it'll help us test its durability with managing with climate. We are hoping that these could be able to adapt to climates, but that part is still experimental. You guys are actually the first. You were the first two batches. Okay, well, the first two batches to actually get that test going. So we were hoping with with all three of your Gabo strains that we actually will be able to send you out there, and the frame should actually adapt for temperature. Now, if it doesn't, you will have. We were going to send you with emergency equipment to warm you up. At least essentially it's a large coat. It's just a glorified large coat. They give it a fancy name, but it's not important. It's just the big jacket. I'm not the one who invented it, so I don't care if you call it the right name. But it's big enough to fit any size frame, so hence why it is a little more special than just a jacket.
What? Gray raises his hand.
Yes.
One more time. What are the jackets for?
Well, the mountains. If you didn't know, are cold.
Oh, I'm good. Yep. Gray's like, I'm good. No, you don't need to worry about me. Cold temperatures and I get along just fine.
Yes, Claire.
Do we get to choose what color our Snuggie is? Because I personally prefer something of like a pale purple. I think that would look very dashing on me, if I'm honest.
You get gray.
She's got a point.
Y'all get gray.
Gray is so passe. It's boring.
Precisely. Anywho.
Gray's just wait.
You get me? I'm muted. Let's see. What's that intelligence there? Oh, what the hell happened?
Why did you drive by? Why you gotta be like that?
What happened to your webcam?
No, he's just
place, Franny.
Yeah, he just.
There we go.
What's up?
For some reason, your webcam, my overlay got like really out of place. I don't know why.
We weren't compatible. It's fine. No, Gray was just like trying to figure out if she was just saying that about the color or about him, or it was like both.
Yeah. Anyway,
the equations are going over his head.
The main thing we're expecting you all to deal with up in these mountains is this facility has been abandoned for a while, but it is generally been under tower control for a number of years. However, they left from it as at some point the environment just became too unstable in the mountains for a while, but recently it's begun to relax. So we're kind of hoping that we might be able to send a team back out there again, but we're concerned that now that it seemingly has been hospitable in the last few months, that there might have locals or anybody may have started to scavenge the area. Potentially we're getting people who break in, try to steal artifacts, things like that. There's definitely going to be some items there of note. So hopefully not too much is taken. Nothing overly valuable. Like all of the crazy powerful stuff that would, pose a danger to any civilian life, it's been taken from there when they initially left. Mostly just things though that have at least a monetary value but no threatening value. So we would like to keep those investments, but definitely a job that's well worth, as you never know what you may see up there. Also, there's likely going to be creatures within the area that we may have to try to get rid of, as critters and other creatures that try to break in just for warmth might have tried to make a nest inside somewhere. Like I said, the area itself doesn't host any necessarily powerful creatures, except for maybe one or two, but they generally don't go inside of these types of buildings. They're a little too big for that. Shouldn't have to worry about them since they're generally in the more of the actual mountain itself. But anyway, yeah, so the tower will continue to look for QR, and hopefully we will be able to find a solution one way or another. But for now, one thing that I am going to just for a safety net, just to kind of, in case somehow something like this would happen, she'll kind of hand each of you these little, these kind of small, like they're about the size of like a pill, kind of little like pieces of metal. These are special graded communicators that will help me determine your signal. So if you should run into issue that presents a glaring threat, we can find you. Otherwise, you guys can communicate with each other better. That should hopefully be essentially EMP resistant, if you will. Which I'm concerned that might have been what happened with QR's system and locator. So hopefully then, if you insert these into your communicators, that this should alleviate that type of issue. So you can just install these right from the bottom under your ear there, and you should be good. Although for you, Enum, so just kind of grab your head, just kind of like put it into the slot. Oh, it's not your first time, you little baby.
That was real life, but yeah, also.
Nah, man, just method acting. So committed to the role.
As we're going to take a moment here. We're gonna step back. We're gonna find ourselves in a small moment of darkness. As QR, you find yourself waking in a hut, or at least what looks like one. It's all metal, but it's a very small space you're in. There is a small door next to you. You don't really feel yourself bound to anything, but you're just kind of like propped up against the wall, and you just wake up to this like small metal enclosure.
Am I able to see any kind of doors or windows around?
Yeah, like right next to you is it looks like a door.
Did you say were you about to say it feels like a door too?
Yeah, it's a little hard to
can
see
I like
'cause you're
reach
not
out
really in
and
light, but
touch?
like it seems to, it looks what you would imagine a door to like a closet almost would look like.
Okay. I'm definitely gonna reach for it and try to open it up.
As you kind of hit the button, it kind of rings open as you're slightly jostled from a little bit of freeness that you now have. as you will see a Vect and a red-skinned man kind of react to you opening the door and goes, "Ha! You're awake. You're awake. Are you friendly? Are you friendly?"
Oh, hello there. I am designation Q R W D O L Y H Mark III, but you can call me QR. And I reach out my hand to do a handshake.
Okay, as variable, you do it. As the other Vect will kind of come up.
Are you the ones who brought me to this location?
Yeah. So I guess we should possibly explain. So you say your name's QR. Where did you come from? Do you work with anybody?
QR pauses for a moment. You hear slight whirring in his head. It almost sounds like something in his brain is like whirring up faster and faster, like there's a processing fan going on or something that's like freaking out.
As it is part of your innate training to generally never say that you're part of the tower, but of astrologations.
Mm-hmm. I do not know when I was first activated, but I do know that I last came online 7 years ago.
Yeah, but do you work for anybody? You know, maybe some white and red evil people. Rhymes with Schmothians. Who do you work for?
If you are looking for someone who can dissect rhyme, I may have to show you a friend of mine. His name is Avant-Garde. But he's not here right now, so I guess that'd be hard. He stops for a sec. I may have just rhymed right now. And I gotta say, I'm pretty surprised I could even do that.
So you don't work for anybody.
Did you bring me here with ill intention?
No. We so I guess maybe yes, I could explain. So me and this is Variable. Me and Variable came through. We got here through that, and he'll point. There's this strange kind of. It seems like a kind of a large metal rim that kind of then kind of almost has itself like clawed into the ground. With kind of, and then kind of within it, you would see what kind of would almost look like a little other spinning disc on the inside, with kind of just like a fully like clear cover over the top of it, but it's not moving. But it almost looks like a fan underneath it. So we.
What is this apparatus, and how does it work?
So I don't know. What I do know is, so we were captured on a Rothian ship. We were supposed to be slaves. So, which you may notice there is a little something on your neck. Don't worry. We modified it. It's not lethal. But just means that I could just incapacitate you for a while. If we weren't sure, because you came in through that portal when we turned it on again. And I don't know why. But we want to make sure that you were not also Rothian. And so we want to make sure that, we're safe. Why it's here, we don't know. We don't even know where we are right now. It's really cold outside. We know that. But you are able to actually also notice, by the way, instead of like hair, it's like it's in the shape of like hair, but it's fire. So he's kind of well lit this room. But anyways, so yeah. So we had escaped Rothian captivity. We were hoping that we might be able to make it to one of our headquarters, as we were off on a planet. We're part of a galaxy-wide anti-slavery coalition. So almost ironic that we were captured by Rothians and marked for slavery. But here we are. We've escaped. But we are not sure if you are also Rothian. Because you never know when they'll use a Vect, do their dirty deeds. You know,
Can I do
terminate some
a
people.
history check to try and recall if before I had woken up I had possibly worked for the Rothians?
Yes. I mean, you know who you worked for. Your memory of before the
I
teleport is
remember
the same.
I remember all of my employers up to waking up 7 years ago. I don't remember. That's gonna be a 5.
Yeah.
You guess probably not. What you know about the Rothians, I guess, will require a different history check. This is the use of me having to combine skills.
That
Yeah.
one's
Uh,
gonna be a 9.
You could replace it with nature, because it's part of my the loose extra skills kind of factor or something.
Still a 9.
Okay. Well, in terms of that, then you at least just know of the Rothians. You know they're the perennial boogeyman of space. You know they're bad. And that generally, if anybody is captured by a Rothian, they either are slaves forever, or they just are dead. So the likelihood that you're alive does lend to the credence that you likely were not employed by them at one point, or captured for their bidding. So it is a solid chance. Oh wow, I was just thinking about this today. This is weird. I got an email about it, something I was thinking about, like a press thing I was thinking about today. And I was like, oh, hey, look at that. But yes, so that is your conclusion that you've at least come to with your 5 and 8, 9.
I'm going to look at these two figures here, and I'm going to bring up my arms slightly in this fashion and say, gentlemen, I have a proposal, and I'd like you to hear me out. I need to return to my compatriots in order to enact the mission that I was initially set for.
Which is,
I understand your plight, and I appreciate the seriousness of your situation. So I propose that I help you, and in return, you help me.
well. So what was your job? Who are these compatriots of yours? We don't have that answer. You seem to not work for anybody. So
Essentially,
what's that?
I was going to work as a sort of scout for a group of people trying out an experiment.
Make an intelligence check for me.
Make a who what now?
Make an intelligence check for me. Just straight intelligence.
Intelligence check, sure thing.
Yeah.
That is a really good roll. I like it when I make good rolls. 19.
Yes. So you stop yourself. You remember that was classified information. Even just,
I mean, there's
no, but I'm just saying, in general, you start to realize that even that probably would have triggered your original many Vect, the things that you, Enum, and all the Vect have that are employed with the tower, which are essentially what Star Wars called restrictor plates. So essentially special nodes in your system to prevent you from doing anything that would be against protocol of the tower. And they had certain guidelines in order to set that.
The
Call
laws
sign.
of
Suddenly you
robotics.
recall, like,
Yep.
you remember that part of that probably would have pinged that. And you would
La,
have
la,
received
la,
a shock.
la, 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 la.
In a potential, essentially, you would have been muted.
The lovely
you didn't.
low.
It seems, based on year 19 as well, that restricting system, which also houses your tracking ability, so their ability to track you and find you, has also been disabled.
So you're free.
You're free.
You are free now. I'm gonna roll some real quick. Okay.
I'm gonna place
Um,
image of the two on the screen here. There we go.
So QR says all of that information, and then he kind of processes that he has been able to give that much detail. And then there's another sort of quick burst of whirring from his head. His jaw pops outward slightly and then snaps back in, and his eyes briefly flash red before going right back to their normal color.
It's a little creepy, to be honest. You do see actually the red
All this happens in
fireman.
like 3 seconds.
I
It's
was
super
like,
fast.
you do see the red fireman be a little. You're hard to get that one eyebrow raise, right? It's hard. It's hard when you try. It's hard when you
Can
try
you
to-
smell what the rock is cooking?
It's so hard. It's so hard when you're thinking about it. When you try, it's way harder.
So QR says to the two of them, "Gentlemen, I think I've made an important discovery. It appears that I am able to speak a little more freely about the position that I am currently in, both in stature and occupation. I would like to make a small request from you.
Yeah, sure.
In order for us to achieve our goal together, I'm going to have to give you some more information. But this information is supposed to be very classified. It shouldn't be shared with the general public, and the secrecy of the matter could affect a great deal of people. Do you understand?"
Yeah, I guess that would show your trust. So yeah, lay it on us.
Excellent. And if you share this information with a third party that is independent of ourselves, I will kill you without hesitation.
Wow.
As he will just kind of go, I guess that's a little fair.
And I will be more than happy to track down anyone that you share this information with and terminate them as well.
Now I'm a little more discerned, but
This will be the most
res-
efficient way
I will
to ensure
respect
that these secrets do not reach widespread acclaim.
Okay, I will respect your wishes.
Fucking
Wonderful.
QR.
I love that. Yeah. Edub suddenly feels a longing for QR. What is this sensation?
Variable, the best way for us to quote-unquote seal the deal would be to shake hands again.
Okay. It's Verabel, by the way. The Genasi just says it weird.
It is a pleasure, Verabel. Don't worry. I know exactly how to shut you down. should you turn against me. And I'm glad that we are friends.
You
And I'm gonna
are
let go of the handshake.
the heel turn.
You do note you do somewhat take note to the just quite large axe on his back. I'm glad that we've come to a conclusion here. As we mentioned, yeah. So we ran away from them. So we're hoping. I don't know how this works, and my goal is that maybe once we can get communication, and just get rescued and figure out wherever we are. Where did you come from? Where were you last before you showed up here? I mean, this, I don't know what this thing pulls from. I had presumed it would pull from the ship, but apparently not.
Top of game, we had just come out of Astragations Incorporated, and we were still in that city, right?
Well, so you were essentially in the kind of main hub area of the Astragations Incorporated complex.
Right. This is all taking that headquarters is on Vixen 5, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can I tell in any way if we are on Vixen 5 currently?
Not in this room. There's no
Okay.
windows to the outside. It's you're just more slightly a slightly larger metal box. So you went from the closet of a metal box to the rest of the metal box.
Story of my life. Come out of the closet, end up in allergic closet. So Vect is gonna, or not Vect, QR is going to say,
Vecna?
Okay. Oh, okay. QR took
The
another
Dark
turn.
Lich. The Dark Lich will say,
Suddenly, yeah, the lich of all liches is just in the box.
gentlemen,
Hello.
I have
I'm
to
here
know.
to make a deal with you. You want my hand?
Who dare?
I'll give you my hand if you don't say yes.
Gentlemen, I have to know. Are we currently on the planet of Vixen 5?
We don't know. We were on a Rothian ship, and then we wound up here. All of our communication and geometric equipment are fried. We have no idea what went on, why, and where we are. So I wish I could tell you, but I don't.
Then the first thing we should do is figure out exactly what planetoid we are currently on and see what we can do to remedy this situation.
Well, so did you come from Vixen 5?
That is correct.
Okay. Well, so I'll keep that in mind, because maybe we can figure out where this sends people. We can figure out more about this as we go on. It's a little cold outside, but a variable thing seems to be good with it. So I'm assuming you should be good in the weather too, right?
That is correct.
Okay. I need a bit of an extra coat here, but I'll be fine. So it's just kind of big ass.
What
coat.
color is your snuggie?
It's just a large, like, thick brown coat.
Shit.
Answer the question, Dungeon Master.
It's brown.
Thank you, Dungeon Master.
It's like, I gave you the answer. What more do you want from me?
What do you want from me?
What? What do you want?
Funny enough, that's what Marshall yells in a notebook every time he's running for this
Yep.
campaign.
Yeah, pretty much.
Very much so. All right, so you head out.
QR's gonna step outside. He wants to
Uh,
see the world in all its wonders.
So I guess make. This should be one or the other.
A pest.
Let's see. I'm trying to think what's best for geographical locations, whether or not that should be history or nature.
Animal handling.
Because like for knowing like an area, I always felt like that's more akin to like a nature check. In some ways, if anything, it would just be. I think in this circumstance, because it's not about like knowing, a city, or like a exact location. It's just more trying to get a gauge of like what possible planet could you be on. So in this scenario, I'll say do a nature check.
Okay. I'll go ahead and do nature.
Nature.
There we go. That's the bonus I want to see. It's gonna be an 18.
All right. You have seen these types of tundras before. They are actually a tundra like this, in like a very kind of snowy, mountainous area, is very akin to actually what you had seen on Vexen 5. Recently, it had been it had been so cold and like just torrentially snowy, like just constant blizzards and things like that it had just become almost inhospitable for years. But then in the last 7 months or so, it had seemingly, for some reason, it had started to calm down. And within that, it had seemingly become a little more easier to live. And this seems to have some behaviors of that. So you gauge it is not within the realm of without reason to be. You still are on Vexen 5 potentially.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I turn to the other two. I've taken a moment to survey our location, and I gotta say, it's left me feeling pretty optimistic about our endeavor.
Well, I guess that's good. Do you have any idea where we are?
I think it is possible, due to the tundra, that we are actually currently on Vixen 5, which is the planetoid that I came from initially.
Oh, interesting. I wonder why it would pull somebody from this planet. I guess that will just have to remain a mystery for a while. Well, there's nothing left to do but to try to trudge on. We believed when in the small computer that was in there, we do believe we at least know the location, about the direction of there's like a building complex, but it's possibly about a 2 days walk, so it'll be a little tough, but we'll make it through.
By all means, please lead the way until you are physically unable to any longer and collapse.
Damn.
We will do our best here.
Just damn.
Wow.
As he'll kind of start to lead you out.
So as we start heading on our way, the loud whirring is heard again. The jaw props out slightly, then snaps. The eye lights flicker for a moment, and QR shakes it off and continues on.
Is QR slowly losing it? Is he like gonna just go full Terminator?
What are you talking about?
I'll be back. Give me your clothes.
As of 30 seconds ago, he got it back.
Well, anyway, yes. So we cut back to our friends. Once I can actually switch overlays here.
Have we just seen Edom just become irrationally angry this entire time?
I mean, he's always been angry, so it's really hard to say.
But more so.
Well, no. So we're cutting back to right where we left off. So he just kind of, you all just kind of inserted your batteries or essentially to your communication system. So he should hopefully help you within any type of power outage or type of, EMP type situation. At least as far as we can attempt to. Obviously people find new ways to counter everything else every day, but as far as we know, they should be pretty good for at least a good while. Pretty resistant, I should say, for a while. So we will get you guys into. You're not going to go to the taxi. We're going to. The Admiral here, I'll have him take over. Essentially, you'll be taking a shuttle over. Yep. Thanks. Thank you, Dr. Cross. Yeah, so you all were going to be heading out. You're going to be taking one of our micro shuttles. So it'll have seats for all of you. Plus, it'll have a couple extra seats should you need to bring anybody back. It'll fit up to 2 normal sized creatures. Potentially, it has some extra space for some smaller folk, whether it be an animal or whether it be something like a halfling or gnome. In somewhat of the extra seating compartments towards the back end of the riding cabin. It'll have a decent storage area as well if you wish to bring anything back. If you feel that there's anything of value that should be brought back, you can put it into essentially the storage container. It's a decent size. You can walk into it. It's pretty much about the back quarter before you reach the engine of the shuttle. So it should do you pretty good. Shouldn't run into too many issues. Try not to bring everything back, obviously. You can only carry so much weight. But if you feel like there's anything that should be secured immediately, you can do so. Obviously, you could probably guess last thing you really should be doing is taking what's not yours. But I have to say it anyway. Just saying. Anyway, if you do recover any technology, throw it in the back. Otherwise, just figure out what's there. Make sure power is still on. We don't know actually if power has retained in the facility yet. We seem to have a signal from it, so it's a good sign. But there's very good chance that it also probably just has a residual power supply that really just kind of lays dormant for location purposes. Otherwise, really, the rest of the facility could be dead, as far as we know. So you guys figure it out. Once you get there, and then we'll go from there. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Oh, yeah, admirable.
I concur. What the fuck? I said concrete. I was gonna say agree and concur.
I'm the creator.
It's high noon somewhere in the world.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys head out then. If there's anything you need supply-wise, add it to your Gabos frame. Also, just make a note of it before you head out with the quartermaster. You can head out through that door to the equipment room that you all got equipped your Gabos frames on, and then from there you can head to the shuttle bay. You should be able to hopefully see it. It's got a big sign. It's just shuttle bay. Is that good? Any questions?
Guess not. Thanks for the help.
Yes, Claire.
How do I get out of this chicken shit outfit?
Is that why? You just have to think to not wear it anymore. Thought we went over this the day that we put it on you. I figured you just left it on because you just felt like it. Made you seem cool.
Yeah, all right, whatever you say. I'll go quote movies somewhere else. Claire's just gonna start heading out the door.
I should note, I think this detail had been somewhat left. You guys kind of, once you're in a kind of been put into these kind of more working areas, so like when you initially put on your Gavos frames and stuff like that, you had kind of been brought down to the your kind of new kind of base suits, which for lack of a solid comparison or equivalent to kind of the Eva jumpsuits or Zero suits of Samus Origin.
Nice.
Um,
Of Samus Origin.
So okay, so skin tight.
So generally,
form-fitting.
the reason being, because it's you don't have to. You can wear your Gavos frame can activate over your clothes. It is entirely uncomfortable, and if you especially if you attach a backpack, your backpack will attach to you like through a article of clothing or a jacket, pretty much any amount of clothing. It will burn a hole through it though to get to the like socket in your back.
I can be Banjo.
You will absolutely ruin clothing by trying to attach your backpack over clothing. However, it can adapt to the clothes you're wearing and move around it. The downside of wearing clothing generally is that, I mean, think of like this sleeve, and then think of I just put just a bunch of saran wrap and just wrapped it up and then held it there. It's gonna pull on my skin and just be a menace for hours, and it's gonna get to you.
I'm gonna pretend I haven't done this before and just nod politely.
So it's not a damaging thing to you personally. It's more of that it's very uncomfortable.
So
Also, we'll just put in the worst creases in your clothing. Just like getting them out.
I just look at the Admiral and I say, doctor's coats, where can I find one of those?
CVS.
I'd be you. Lindsay will kind of cut in like as much as I know you are tied to your former occupation and your MD. Currently, you are not employed here as a doctor, so we're just kind of going to keep you in the normal outfit for now. You start wearing coats, people start thinking you're not here to do the job that you're here to do.
Well, you underestimate the power of the doctor's pocket.
You
They're so
underestimate
helpful.
the power of your employer. Please keep to your duty.
You can
I
put
do not
so
want to
much
lose-
in these pockets.
I do not want to lose another test subject.
Okay, I don't know what that means.
You
Mm.
don't want to know what it means.
I guess I'll carry this notebook everywhere, I guess.
You unfortunately right now you're equivalent to a mercenary or a bounty hunter in terms of the public's eye. I feel like, for a moment that it goes well actually to remind you all this, because I feel like it's important. It's been a while since we had our initial meeting before your operation. It might be easy to forget. If you are out in public, you do not work for the tower. You do not mention your affiliation with the tower. You do not mention anything about the Gavos frame, what the Gavos frame does, what its capabilities are, and who made it. As much as I'd love to take credit for it.
Claire peeks back in. Who? Who do we work for? We don't.
Get in the room.
Who did what?
Get in
And
the
then
room.
she winks and then walks out.
I will get her.
She comes back in with a coffee and a donut.
As she's gone, Grace just looks at Dr. Ross. She scares me.
She'll be scared of me at some point.
I come back in with the coffee and the donut. Who's scared of who now?
There's food?
You will be if you keep this attitude up. Or you will be of me if you keep this attitude up. Anyway, just remember, you have no affiliations with the tower. You know nothing of the tower. You know nothing of the Gabba's frame or anything of its doing. Obviously, people may see you in this. Just tell them it's classified. Move on the way. Move on your way. That's all you gotta do. Just the best answer is no answer. If you're in a situation you do need to give an employer, you can say you are working a job for Astrologations Incorporated. Because as I said, the public knows you're all bounty hunters that work with Astrologations Incorporated.
So
You're not actually, but that's what people will think. Yes, Gray.
So, just because I need it to be said out loud, what happens if someone does find out we're from the tower?
Well, I mean, I guess partly it depends on the situation. People know of the tower, obviously. The likelihood of them knowing you work with the tower generally should mean that they either work for the tower or they are a distinct enemy of the tower and somehow have gotten hold of our information. Obviously, we try to keep our best to keep that information locked down, but enemies always know a way of finding certain secrets. But for the most part, we really haven't had the issue of anybody recognizing other agents. So if that were to happen, I would err on the side of caution, but it likely is a tower employee. But I, again, err on the side of caution. Don't be too trusting. Yes, again, Gray.
So, what if someone who has no affiliation with the tower finds out that we're from the tower?
Well,
What happens
so
to them?
if it somehow were to be an enemy, then you must silence them immediately. There is no act of mercy. They have to be erased. Yes. Gray.
So, will that carry on to civilians?
If they are aware of who you are amongst the tower, they are not just civilians. Don't worry, we have our way of handling the authorities. We have our way of handling the authorities, and I listened to all of your conversations. I will always give you the go-ahead to take out an enemy. Yes, Gray.
Last question. So, hypothetically, if I were to go to a random person on the street and tell them, hey, I work for the tower, this is what the tower does, and this is all that, and they have no affiliation with anything whatsoever, what happens to them? This is me asking in case that happens.
You, let's see. Well, you will do this as she'll hit a button on her pen, and you will be immediately paralyzed. And then she'll release you. And then I will instruct your companions to grab the civilian, and then they will be taken for a memory wipe.
Okay, from the ground. All right, just want to make sure we're not killing anybody.
And they also will kill you on the spot.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Look, at this point, I've basically resigned myself to knowing I'm not getting out of this one. So, can I at least get like a nice little thermos for my coffee and I can go? I want to keep it warm.
You could grab one outside. You've been here long enough, Claire. Look. I know that it all sounds really intimidating, but it's because obviously this is a huge experiment for the tower, and they're very paranoid and secretive. That shouldn't be a secret to anybody. Everybody who knows at all what the tower is knows they're very shady and questionable. But
Well, then they're not very good at keeping secrets, are they?
as far as
Take this bite of donut.
I would actually say the opposite of that. They're very good at it. None of you knew about this experiment before you got here, now did you? Yeah, it's been going on for almost a decade. Anyway, so it's, again, it all sounds really intimidating and really mean to just murk people, but We gave you this on your way in. It's part of you will be able to have your life and you're living freely. You don't have ultimate restrictions to your life. We're just sending you out right away now, mostly just because you finished that first one really quickly and you're able just to kind of get yourselves, hopefully if we can get you out there, then that's just more experience to give you a little more free time. After you finish this meeting, you'll have a nice weekend break. So this is going to be a 3-day break. So 3 days to yourselves. You can roam around the city, do whatever you want. Obviously, just don't have loose lips. Got it?
From the ground. Sounds good.
Okay, you can get up, Greg. You're fine.
This floor is actually doing great.
You want the
wonders
rest
for
of my
back,
donut?
But yes, please. I have not eaten. He gets up.
I'm gonna gingerly hand him the donut.
I will gingerly pick it up.
Eat something before you go.
It has white frosting and sprinkles.
You should take care of yourself, Gray. You're a doctor. Eat something before you go. I'll see you all hopefully when you come back. I have the utmost confidence in you all after your last mission, so it should go. I think it'll go just fine.
Is this one of the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia screen comes up and says
Potential.
The gang breaks the Gavos frame.
She and the Admiral will walk out of the room. Once again, showcasing just the pure, I guess, potential shortness of him and the height of her as they walk out.
Well, all right. I can't think of anything I might need. I'm ready to go whenever you guys are.
Aviara will give a confirming caw.
From like 50 feet away at the window.
Yes. The room isn't that big.
Okay. From like 20 feet away at the window.
Yeah.
Well, Ian, Claire, what do you guys say? Should we leave right now, or are you guys needing anything?
What are you doing?
Were you gonna say something?
No.
Oh.
I thought Claire was like gonna be like pointing or like doing finger guns or something.
You're pretty good.
Yeah.
All right,
no.
So you guys gonna
No,
are you guys gonna go to the shops at all?
So, I'm gonna do this thing super quick. Claire is gonna actually finish the rest of her coffee. And she says, "Don't think I'm gonna actually need that thermos after all, but I do suppose I could hit up the shops. If I gotta go on this bogus journey, I might as well make myself prepared." She's gonna head out the door. As she head out, she's gonna slyly glance at Gray's hands and try to see if he has any kind of engagement or wedding ring on.
Oh.
Make a perception check.
Oh, there's one of them definitely has metal on it.
We'll see how good the roll is. I guess, did you go for a more hidden type of prosthetic, or did you go for just like Anakin Skywalker doing like gold arm?
Marshall.
Yeah.
Knowing Gray, he would have thought the metal hand would have been fucking awesome, and he would have just kept it like that.
Okay. Well, then it will take very little perception to notice the
16.
metal arm. Okay. Well,
A
which arm of yours is metal again?
It's the shit, I keep forgetting. It's the right hand. It's the right hand.
Okay, yes. So I think I'm trying to remember which hand. I think
It's the left hand that usually has like wedding rings.
I thought it was engagement and then wedding, but I didn't remember. I don't remember if that's how it
Either or, if they're both empty, what's the point?
Yes, the reality, I guess, is you can see both hands. With the 16, you can see both hands, and you know that neither of them have any jewelry on them whatsoever. And he's not one of those.
The real
weirdos
fun
that
is
wears
when
a
we
ring
check
on
the
his-
earrings.
Well, I was to say, and he's not one of those weirdos that wears the ring on a necklace.
Mm-hmm.
No, I do have a spring of mistletoe as a necklace, but that's about it.
Druid.
Yeah.
We all knew that kid in high school.
Druid.
Okay. She is gonna kind of smirk to herself and walk out the door.
Grace,
Go
I'll
to
look
the
at
shop.
Enum.
All right, what can I get you? One condom, please.
Just one. I have no faith in
Just
it
one.
whatsoever.
One jetpack to fly to
Actually,
space,
too much
please.
faith. If you get one condom, it's too much faith.
I'm gonna look up at Enum.
One goat skin, please.
Enum,
Yes.
how are you feeling right now?
I don't know. I have no strong feelings, I suppose,
It's-
about our
I
current
have no
terrifying.
strong feelings one way or
feelings
the
one way or
other.
the other. No.
That's good to know. I'm using his chest to write down all these notes. Continue.
He's writing on you for some
It's
reason.
like doing homework on your locker. Like,
Yes.
Except it's your chest, Edom.
Can I ask what you're doing?
Making a
It's like
psychoanalysis
punch
sheet for you. I'm very curious to see how Vex react to certain situations. Like you not having your partner. You are here.
Sighs and just asks, I don't think you're ever going to stop, so I think I might just roll with you being weird.
That's
Go,
perfect.
feel free.
This is the most carefree that I've seen, Edom.
this is too real.
You get rid of QR and the rage is gone.
I know.
Right?
I feel like I've lost my purpose.
Even though he's a barbarian now.
Without even looking up, I'm just like, don't worry about it. Very curious to see how Beck did. Like the fact that how you just sighed without intaking air. It's pretty interesting.
Yes, I suppose it is.
All right, that's good for right now. I am going to see if I can get some medicine to take on the road. Hey, Enum, quick question.
Yes.
When you get hurt, how do you fix that?
I can repair myself with additional parts. And no, we are not going into a ship of Theseus discussion right now.
That's fair. Just let me know what I need to do. I know we're technically mercenaries in the situation, but if you guys need help, I'm here to help you. I'm here. I am
the way,
here.
Edom, from when you reconfigured your character sheet,
Yes.
you can add. I changed your weapons out, and then what you can do is you can add, because of what you would have had available to you as a level 1 barbarian, you can essentially just pick any one martial weapon and any one simple weapon.
Okay.
A martial weapon being a weapon with Marshall's face on it.
Yeah, like a shield.
Obviously.
Yes.
That's okay.
If you replace statistics on a character sheet one by one, does it eventually become an entirely different character sheet?
What kind of question is this?
It's the ship of Theseus argument Bennett just brought
Yeah.
up.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I'm saying all this to you.
I'm making meta jokes.
If you need any help, both either physically or mentally, come to me. I'm here for you guys. Okay, I got you, buddy. I give him like a soft little punch in the chest, and I go away.
I suppose I do.
Punch him back, punch him back, punch him back, punch him back.
His like
Oh.
hand like raises up and then he just puts it back
I have
down.
been punched. This is a clear sign of a fight. Bam! Just like the non-moving, just like.
Yeah.
me immediately dies.
I rage and punch him.
Yeah. I really, no.
Rage sensors engage. Anyway, yes. So you were going to a shop then, Claire?
Yeah, she's got a decent amount of supplies on her, but she actually wants to if she can get any kind of backup firearm or long range weapon in case the Gabos frame somehow fails.
She wants to buy a gun.
She wants some
here,
kind
so
of
you're
contingency
missing
plan.
on her. I think you're just missing the stun gun that you were given from the last time.
Yeah.
I believe it was. No, wait. I didn't say. You know what? Now that I think about it, do the rest of you? Did I give that to the rest of you?
Let me actually see if I
I did neglect to do that. Apparently. Okay. Good to know. So you would have had that already. This would have made that last encounter a little different, but we'll deal with it as it is.
And add. There we go. Okay.
So we'll just kind of add these in the fact. Edom, you've already had one. But Gray, you would. So if anything, we could just add to it now. I'll add it to you right now.
Okay.
You've been given essentially a civilian grade stun gun. So this does entirely non-lethal damage, but it does pack kind of a decent punch.
What's it called?
It'll be, if you refresh, you'll see it in your inventory as equipment as stun gun.
Got it.
It is, as the name implies, meant to stun and incapacitate somebody, bring them down to your level. Not even actually, just to bring them down, and then you can bring them in as whatever need be. So, usually especially for most civilians, it's a pretty good way just to like anybody that's either civilian and freaking out or like somebody like else just kind of.
So
do
Like a
that.
fire dynasty or
Question for the DM.
Yes.
Are we proficient with these?
You
or...
are proficient with them, yes.
Alrighty.
Sweet.
I'll put that down.
You should be, and if it's not adding your proficiency bonus, you can just probably add that.
It's like Snake with the easy
But
gun.
it should hopefully be adding it. Otherwise, just try to keep it in mind that if it's not showing you with your proficiency bonus, that it should. These are civilian grade. They're very easy to manipulate. Actually, contrary to a normal taser of our time, these are actually very easy to use.
What's a
But they
taser?
don't
Not
kill.
cartridge.
So
Ah,
they have zero capability to kill.
these can only be used if we're not in a Gabos frame.
No, you can use these. You can use these in them if you wanted to. It doesn't usually make sense if you're in the Gabos frame, but you can do it if you want.
All right. Because now we can non-lethally take someone down in a Gabos frame.
I mean, you inherently could anyway.
Yeah, true. But it looks cooler.
Attempt any sorts of non-lethal attacks. For example, Avant-Garde, who kneecapped
Bossing that
the
guy's
man.
kneecap.
So yes, it is possible without the stun gun, if you wish.
Mm. So Claire's going to the shop.
Yes, if you're looking for anything else that you could potentially add to the arsenal.
So yeah, she outside of the contingency plan gun, or the CPG, she would basically want to pick up another day's worth of rations as well.
Alrighty. Let's see. So let's see. Shouldn't cost too much. Let's see. So per day, we're looking at a half gold. So it'll be about 5 creds. So whenever you input money in your system, you can it just put it in the gold category, and it's just credits.
Okay.
So it'll put in as 5 credits, and I actually, for the last job, do need to add credits to each of you, so I'm going to do so. So in a bit, some of you may need to do some refreshing. All right.
I mean, we can always add it too. It's just it takes place of a gold, right?
Yeah, I added yours already, Gray.
Oh, neat. Ooh, I'm 10 credits richer.
All right, and then yeah,
There
so
we go.
Dylan, if you want to, or Dylan or Bennett, Dylan already added yours as well, so you can just refresh for that. Bennett, you can just add the 10 gold so that you have the extra 10 credits then.
It was 5 credits for the rations, right?
Yes, and then it was 5 for the rest, so then you can subtract 5 and add 5, and then in managed equipment you can add 5 rations.
Whoops, yeah, I added.
Claire bought 5 MREs.
Otherwise, if you have no other additives, you guys can get yourselves ready to the shuttle there.
So once we get to the shuttle, Gray's going to ask the obvious question: who's driving?
What an amazing question.
That deserves an inspiration point.
We'll see. Because now you've answered that question, but how do you find the answer?
You know, a cryptic DM is cryptic.
Well, let's see. Well, let's look at proficiencies, shall we? Anybody take a background that gives you in anything in any type of proficiency in vehicles?
That's a solid no for me.
I have sleight of hand, survival, perception, nature, intimidation, and athletics. So
Well,
no.
the proficiency you will see.
Oh,
I think it gets marked under tools.
I can play the drum.
The-
Yeah,
I'm trying to. Yeah, I think D&D Beyond
Oh.
has it under tools, right?
I do have it.
it
I've
does.
got
It does.
I've got land vehicles proficiency.
Hey,
You can drive a shuttle.
Yo, I'm driving.
no objections here. I have no idea how to even get in that thing.
There was another answer that potentially the spacefaring man could have thought about. That would have netted him the inspiration dice. But not today.
Oh,
But it is not this day.
he is not the Rocket Man. All right, so
Packed the bags last night.
go in, see if there's cup holders.
Claire's the rocket girl.
9 a.m.
It's not actually in the shape of like a U.S. shuttle of today. It's more of like a.
Shocking.
It is more. It's a little more boxy. It does have like wings, but they again like the shape of it as a whole is a little more boxy with a little bit
It's shaped
of
like the
slant
Queen of
to give it
YouTube.
some aerodynamicy, but not too much.
God damn it. How could you?
How do you
So-
forget?
All right. I will sit down and just start fidgeting with the necklace I have.
All right, and then you at the pilot, it will ring up for you. Guided path initiated. Destination: Mountain Base Sector 004. Prepare for liftoff, because it'll have like a little like prompt with the question, as it'll have like an engage button.
Mm-hmm. All right, everybody's strapped in, ready to go.
Yeah.
yeah. I suppose.
On call from Avant.
Yes,
I'm gonna take that as a yes.
another confirmed
Uh,
call.
Yeah, just a call.
She's gonna Press down on the engage button.
Unusually deep.
As you the platform you're on then will kind of semi like jostle from the bridge you walked in on, as you will kind of rotate and land yourself kind of up by a runway, which is just more of like a tube. As the countdown will engage 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Is that how you set up the seatbelt?
Engage. And you just launch. Like no like build up, it's just boom. You just completely launch yourself out into this tunnel.
Rocket Man!
Gray's got the silent scream face from the G floors.
As your liftoff will end the session, and we'll be back again next week.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
QR's not dead.
He's not.
It's not. I kind of thought he. I hoped he would be. No, I'm joking.
Enum.
He did not kill him. He did not.
Whenever he gets found, Enum, that would be a sad day for Enum if they find him alive.
Yeah.
Immediately, Enum goes into a rage.
It's QR. Ah! Hey, look, he's coming to greet me with a hug.
He's like,
With
oh
his
man,
axe. Ah!
Enum, stop. Oh god, he's got his ear pods in. He can't hear us.
Oh my god.
They're taped to the side of his head.
Yeah. Just like clear tape. Like
So we will be back hopefully at full power next week.
we shall see.
I get to remake these two overlays for the full party. As I have been conveniently switching between an overlay that shows QR and Claire for that perfect
Oh.
clarity. Yes.
Boo.
See you next week.
Those were worse than my
That
bocce joke.
was not intentional.
And it becomes all the better.
I was like, what? And then I realized that was not intentional at all. Well, that'll end it. So see you guys next week.
Yep.